And now we're going to join our local guide Yener on a city tour of Istanbul on the bus. And we'll be hopping on and off and checking out some of the main highlights of this great city.
Okay, very good afternoon everybody. My name is Yener. I'll be your tour guide this afternoon, also tomorrow until the boat is departing. We will be together and we have a very nice program. We will basically show you some of the very famous sites of Istanbul. Topkapi Palace, Hagia Sophia, Blue Mosque, all these sites are very famous. We are driving to the old city and we are going to start our tour from Grand-Bazaar. Our Grand-Bazaar is also world famous and we have about over 4,000 shops in Grand-Bazaar. It's extremely large market. This is a cover market since 17th century and one of the very rare example in the world with so many shops and so many parallel streets and many different entrances and exits. Since old Turkish days, since Ottoman time, we have a very big market in this Grand-Bazaar. So from Grand-Bazaar, we are planning to head to Spice Market. Spice Market is also one of the very old market, again covered market in Istanbul, and famous with, of course, spices, and we have some of dry figs, apricots, and saffron. And also behind of Spice Market is extremely interesting area with lots of local small size of manufacturers. They have toy stores, kitchenwares, and lots of Turkish people, they do come to Spice Market for their local shopping. And after Spice Market, we are planning to take a nice walk in the local area, little bit out of the touristic parts. We have Taksim Square, which is the center of the city in Istanbul. So we are planning to take a special route from Taksim Square down towards the harbor of Golden Horn. We will make sure that we have a nice walking route, that you can see some different pictures of people. That will give you some more idea about the local life in Istanbul. And in total, we have about 17 million people living in our city. This is according to records, but I think practically we have about 20 million people living in Istanbul. It's an extremely busy city, but it's also very interesting, very lively, with full of people and full of cars. Always living city, 24 hours. Many people in Istanbul, every morning they travel from Asian continent to European continent and they work over here. There are about 6 million people every morning. They cross from Asian side to European side and they work in this continent. So many of the locals, they either take the ferries to this side or from here, the other side, they use the bridges. At the moment we are in the new city, so we are crossing from new city to old city of European continent. You always have fishermen here 24 hours a day. It's very famous with the fishermen. And in front of us, in the old side, you can see different hills located with different mosques. We are going to see a beautiful view on the left side. We are going to see the view of Topkapi Palace. There's ever so many people here. This is Saturday. It's extremely busy. It's extremely busy city. And the Spice Market is on the right side. It's quite busy because especially Spice Market is more local than Grand-Bazaar. Lots of Turkish people, Saturday, they come to this neighborhood, the Eminönü area, to do their groceries or buy some kitchenwares, buy some spices and some Turkish coffee, apple tea, Turkish delight from Spice Market. It's a very local part of the city.
Perhaps the most fascinating area of town for experiencing the authentic atmosphere of backstreets and funky shops for locals only is the section of twisted little lanes between the Suleiman Mosque and the Grand-Bazaar and the Spice Market. This neighborhood is small, just 500 yards on a side, but densely packed with tiny shops and sidewalk vendors. Whoa, these lanes are pretty crowded, all right, but We only have to walk 1 block through this thick and heavy crowd, and we'll soon be arriving at the back door of the Spice Market. It is picturesque to the max, with down-to-earth characters flooding the streets, going about their daily life, shouting out greetings, prices, and conversations, and a sensational cavalcade of noise, smell, and stunning sights that will overload your senses. While these merchants will generally ignore the odd tourist passing through in refreshing contrast to the hawkers and touts back in the Grand Bazaar, they will be glad to talk if you ask them something. Turks are justly famous as friendly people. Don't worry too much about picking a specific route to walk through this colorful zone, which is about 8 blocks wide and long, but instead decide at each corner which way looks more interesting at the moment. With a detailed map in hand, you can easily cover a good sample of this scruffy shopping district in 1 hour, and then emerge on the downhill lower edge at the must-see Spice Market. First constructed in the 1600s, it was rebuilt in the middle of the 20th century, renovated and modernized a little bit, but still you get this ancient feeling when you're inside. The Spice Market is one of the oldest shopping centers in the world, dating back to the 7th century. Inside, they sell exotic spices that you would never see at home, along with nuts, candy, and dried fruits. Remember to bargain for the goods. The L-shaped market is also called the Egyptian Bazaar and has shops on 2 floors with a nice cafe upstairs. It is not nearly as big or touristy as the Grand Bazaar and has an attraction all its own, so don't think that you can skip it because you've already seen the larger market. Both of them are worth your time. The Spice Market or Egyptian Bazaar, another highlight of Istanbul. Well, that was quite an experience going through the Spice Market together that way and doing a little bit of shopping, picking up some Turkish delight and other candies and some nuts for the road. Then we go through a pedestrian tunnel, walking underneath a busy road up above. The tunnel itself is pretty busy as well, too. Everything is pretty crowded here in Istanbul. Population of about 18 million. It seems like they're all going through that tunnel at the same time. But we continue on with our guide Yener. It's comforting to know that our bus is waiting for us just up ahead, a view of the Galata Tower across the waters. And we hop onto our comfortable, quiet, peaceful, air-conditioned bus. Back over the bridge, more fishermen out here every day. There must be a lot of fish running through these Bosphorus Straits, keeping those fishermen busy. And we'll be driving along to reach another one of the great sights of the city that we'll be touring with our guide Yener, and that is the Blue Mosque, more properly called Sultan Ahmet Mosque. The Blue Mosque is named for the blue ceramic tiles covering much of the interior. The interior is breathtakingly vast.